If you've ever shopped for router bits, you've probably seen something confusing. One router bit costs $5. Another looks almost identical, but costs $50. Same profile. Same shape. Same purpose. So what's going on? Are expensive router bits actually better? Or are woodworkers paying extra for a fancy logo on the packaging? Today, we're putting that question to the test. I bought cheap router bits. I bought expensive router bits. And then I put them through a series of real woodworking tests. Cut quality. Burning. Tear out. Durability. And long-term performance. By the end of this video, we'll find out whether premium router bits are truly worth the money, or if the price difference is mostly marketing. Some of these results shocked me, because one cheap bit performed much better than expected. And one expensive bit had an advantage that became obvious almost immediately. Let's start with first impressions. When both router bits arrived, the differences were noticeable. The premium bit felt heavier. The finish looked cleaner. The cutting edges appeared sharper. Even the packaging looked more professional. Meanwhile, the budget bit looked exactly like what you'd expect. Simple. Basic. Nothing fancy. But appearances don't cut wood. Performance does. So I installed both bits and prepared identical test boards. Same wood species. Same router. Same cutting depth. Same feed rate. The goal was simple. Give both bits exactly the same conditions. The first test focused on cut quality. Because that's what most woodworkers notice immediately. I ran the cheap bit first. The results honestly surprised me. The profile looked good. The cut was clean. And if you looked quickly, you'd probably assume it came from a premium bit. Then I switched to the expensive version. And that's where things became interesting. At first glance, the difference wasn't dramatic. In fact, if you're watching from a few feet away, you might not notice it at all. But once I inspected the cuts closely, small differences started appearing. Cleaner edges. Less fuzzing. Less tear out. Smoother surfaces. Nothing life-changing. But definitely noticeable. At this point, I started wondering something. If the difference is this small, why are some woodworkers spending 10 times more? That question became even more interesting during the second test. Because now we were testing hardwood. And hardwood has a way of exposing weaknesses very quickly. The cheap bit started strong. The first few cuts looked respectable. But as the workload increased, things began changing. The router worked harder. The surface quality started dropping. And small imperfections became easier to spot. Then the premium bit entered the test. And for the first time, I saw a clear performance gap. The cut felt smoother. The router sounded happier. The finish quality improved. And suddenly, the higher price started making a little more sense. But we were still far from finished. Because cut quality isn't the only thing that matters. Durability matters too. And this is where many router bit comparisons completely fail. Anyone can make a few clean cuts. The real question is, what happens after dozens of cuts? Or hundreds? That's exactly what the next test was designed to answer. I wanted to see which bit would maintain its performance over time. So I started running repeated cuts. Again. And again. And again. The goal wasn't to make one perfect profile. The goal was to wear these bits down and see how they handled real workshop use. And what happened next completely changed my opinion about cheap router bits.